Hey guys, today I'm talking about my Tirzepatide experience. I am currently in my 5th month of compound Tirzepatide. I am currently weaning off of it, so I am microdosing. I'm taking a portion of the starting dose. A couple weeks ago, I hit my goal weight. I personally, throughout this journey, have plans the whole time on getting off of it and trying to maintain off of it and using this as a tool to get my body healthier, so that it's less of an uphill battle. Here is a quick recap of my story. I was not overweight throughout my life. I had 2 very difficult pregnancies where I had extreme morning sickness the whole time. The first pregnancy, I had trouble maintaining the weight because I was throwing up so much. The second pregnancy, I didn't throw up quite as much and eating made me feel better. So I gained a lot of weight that pregnancy. And then after that pregnancy, I had a lot of PCOS symptoms. I had very irregular, heavy periods, facial hair, cystic acne. I did go to a special doctor. They believed I had PCOS. And I tried to get to a healthier weight by myself. So I tried diet and exercise for an entire year, and the weight just wouldn't go down. I had about 5 pounds that I would lose and then gain back, and it was just so frustrating. I also have cardiovascular disease, so for me, being overweight is extra dangerous. My BMI was right about 27. So I began looking into medical options for weight loss. I was hearing a lot about Ozempic in the news, and I knew that it could help people lose weight who are stuck. There's also a lot of wonderful things coming out about how beneficial it could be for people with cardiovascular disease. So I did a deep dive into Ozempic, and I also found out about Mounjaro, which Mounjaro can typically have a little bit better weight loss, have a little less side effects. The active ingredient in Ozempic is Semaglutide, and the active ingredient in Mounjaro is Tirzepatide. There also are a lot of telehealths as well that can provide you prescriptions for compound Semaglutide or compound Tirzepatide. Now those are coming from compounding pharmacies. They're usually a fraction of the cost of name brands. You do need to make sure you're going to a licensed, accredited compound pharmacy and telehealth, of course. I first asked my cardiologist, hey, can you prescribe me Ozempic? Is this something that could help me? My cardiologist said, yes, this could definitely be helpful to you. This could be good for you, but that is not something that we prescribe here in our clinic. So you're just gonna have to go somewhere else. But yes, I think that is a good idea for you. I looked into my insurance options. My insurance will not cover GLP-1 medications. GLP-1 medications are Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, any of those. So I knew I needed the compound versions for financial reasons, of course. The name brands can be $1,000, even with their coupons. With the manufacturer coupons, they're like $550 or something. I went with the first telehealth that was recommended to me. It was just fine, but as I ended up diving deep into all the telehealth options that were available to me, I really felt like JoinFridays was the best one for its excellent clinical support, its nutrition, fitness, mindset, coaching. You can have real telehealth visits with providers. And this was really the hook and sinker for me. It has some of the best compound prices you will find out there. So then I switched to JoinFridays. I have turned out to be a hyper responder, which means I respond very well to these medications at the low dose. So the starting dose for Tirzepatide or Mounjaro or Zepbound is usually 2.5 milligrams. And I started on that and immediately started losing weight. A lot of people have to keep titrating up to get to a dose where they're actively losing weight. For me, that starting dose did it. And that's great. So I never moved up in doses. I've consistently lost weight and felt decent on the starting dose. So I've stayed right there until a couple weeks ago when I actually started titrating down from that starting dose. I do want to mention for any clinical people that might be watching this, my cardiologist also has me on Jardiance, which is a different diabetic medicine. And now you can be on Jardiance and be on Tirzepatide at the same time. Those are fine. But I do wonder if being on these 2 diabetic medications at once is part of what led me to be such a hyper responder to the Tirzepatide. Let's talk about side effects. I do have some side effects. Around days 2 through 4 of my shots, I have some nausea. It kind of comes and goes throughout the day. I feel like maybe a little car sick. It doesn't interfere with my daily life too much, but it is an inconvenience and is part of the reason I do plan to get off the medication and try to maintain off the medication. I also have experienced some extra fatigue. So chronic fatigue is something I totally deal with, in large part probably because of my cardiovascular disease and PCOS. And so adding a little more fatigue to that is a total bummer. But I am happy to do it if it means my body is getting healthier, and I do feel like my body is getting healthier. Certain things have helped with that, like doing an electrolyte drink. If I'm having a really tired day, I might just be kind of short on electrolyte drinks, having the high protein diet, taking a nap if I can. Those all kind of help to make things manageable. I've also had just kind of occasional GI upsets. My tummy doesn't feel good, something feels off. By watching my diet and trying to eat really clean, I can help with that. Intermittent fasting also kind of helps with that. I have made dietary changes while on this medication. I feel like I ate pretty healthy before. My weight loss attempts were greatly just calorie deficit focused, and this great education by JoinFridays has been so helpful. So I kind of switched my focus away from calorie deficit. Calorie deficit is important in weight loss, but also the macros, making sure I'm getting a really high protein diet, trying to get plenty of fiber in, kind of avoiding carbs. I've also noticed I feel best when I'm doing some intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is something I kind of started before this medication. It's much easier on the medication because you're just not as hungry. But giving my body a 14 to 16 hour break to just kind of digest my food and cleanse, that feels really good. I try to just drink a ton of water, at least 8 glasses a day. I always do way more than that. If I'm having a lot of fatigue or side effects or something, I add an electrolyte drink in. That can really be helpful. Supplements are great. So doing one protein supplement a day, whether that is a protein shake or a protein bar, is very helpful to get my protein goals in. I try to eat at least 80 grams of protein a day, 100 ideally. Fiber supplements like a fiber drink or a fiber bar can also be really helpful for GI purposes. I've also really learned in this journey to give myself grace. I try to avoid sweets, but if once a week I have a sweet, that is not that big a deal. If once a week I don't meet my intermittent fasting goal, that's okay. If once a week I don't eat the cleanest meal, that's okay. My kind of general rule is give myself grace once a week. And then if it's more than that, grace. Trying to be too strict and then rebounding or just falling away or just going crazy and eating bad all day or something, the day is not lost if you have one cheat meal or something. It's okay. So it's 80-20 or 90-10 or whatever. I think I've really been trying to make these lifestyle changes that my daily meals look different. They look very high in protein. They look very healthy. I'm not really snacking. I'm doing intermittent fasting. But if occasionally that doesn't look perfect, that's all right. And that feels like a really good place to be. I've also changed my fitness routine. Before, I was regularly exercising 6 days a week, but it was mainly cardio focused. I would power walk with an incline at the gym or outside. In my education from JoinFridays, I've really learned the importance of resistance training. So I've incorporated Pilates and weightlifting into my routine, and that is so good for your metabolism. That strength training is. I'm really grateful for this education, and I think this change in my fitness routine is also making my body stronger and healthier. I do have plans to get off. People feel mixed about plans to get off. I know that the research on getting off and maintaining is not great, but my story isn't the same necessarily as those research participants. There's studies that are just diabetics, or there's studies that people of just the people with chronic obesity, and that's really not my story either. I do know several women who have gotten off and maintained the vast majority of their weight loss. There seems to be a few pounds that just kind of come back, just like when you change any routine, any diet plan. I also know of a few women specifically with PCOS who, once their body was healthier and regulated, were able to maintain easier. And I think that is kind of what I'm hoping for. I also have been working with my OBGYN to get my PCOS under control. I've gotten an IUD, I've gotten off the pill. A lot of my PCOS definitely through this medication and through the lifestyle changes and the hormonal changes, it has improved. And so I am really hopeful in that sense. I also do have some side effects. I feel a little yucky a couple of days a week, and I don't know that I want to do that the rest of my life. Also, there's a cost to it. So I kind of just want to see for me how I do off of it with my continuing lifestyle changes. Now, this is how I am weaning off of it. I am a hyper responder. I was on the lowest dose. But because I'm on the compound medications, and something I love about the compound medications is that I can go lower. So I am doing 3 weeks of just 2 milligrams, and then 3 weeks of 1.5, and then 2 or 3 weeks of just 1, and then I will be done. So I do notice once I fell below the starting dose of 2.5, the food noise started to come back. I started to think about food all the time, and I started to be like, oh, I could have a snack right now, and like have twinges of hunger, and then they would go away or whatever. So I tried to just remember these habits that I was implementing, and I tried to keep my lifestyle as similar as possible as it was before. And the first week of being on the 2 milligrams was kind of hard in that sense. But then by the 3rd week, I was a little more used to it, and I was felt a little more in control. Like I would get a hunger twinge, and while before this medication, I might go straight to the snack, I would maybe just get a drink of water or to kind of distract myself if I know that I just eaten a full meal an hour before, you know? This medication has really opened my eyes to so many things. I've also noticed I am still losing a small amount of weight even while microdosing. So in those 3 weeks, I dropped down to the 2.0. I lost 1 pound. So I was slowly going down like a couple ounces a week. While on 2.5, normally I was losing between 1 and 2 pounds. So even on a microdose, I was actually still losing very small. And right now I'm at 1.5, and it appears I'm still losing like a couple ounces a week. And it is very interesting. But I'm so glad that I'm slowly doing this. One, I know my calories are slightly increasing, so I'm slightly increasing my body's ability to metabolize all of that. I am having a little more energy, so I'm working out a little bit harder. That's good. I'm also slowly getting my body and my brain used to this food noise coming back, used to these cravings coming back. The cravings aren't as bad as they were before. I actually really like healthy food again, which is great. It's a great place to be. But the food noise, I mean, it is there. So I like wake up and I start thinking about breakfast, and then I push it off a little bit because I like to do intermittent fasting, and then I have breakfast and I kind of am fine an hour, and then I start thinking about food again. And I like to normally allow like at least 3 hours between meals. So I try to just stay really hydrated, distract myself, tell myself, this helps. So I'm not telling myself no, I'm telling myself not yet. I have toddlers, and so whenever you can like not say no, you can say not yet or something, it's good. But I'm doing that to myself for my food noise. So I'm saying you can eat again. You just need to wait an hour and a half because you just ate an hour ago and you had a fully good balanced meal, and there's no reason for you to eat right now. So anyway, the food noise is back. It's uncomfortable. Don't love it. I'm coming up with coping strategies. We'll see how it goes. My maintenance plan is to continue my dietary changes, to continue my exercise routine, to continue my mindfulness and my awareness of the food noise, what it is, recognize it, talk back to it if needed, to take care of my body. I hope to intensify my workouts a little bit, because I've been on a calorie deficit and, a little extra fatigue. I feel like I've maybe not been able to push myself as much as I would like to, a little bit more in the gym, so increase my workouts. And I am expecting a small rebound. I'm expecting to gain a couple pounds back. If it gets more than that, I may go back to my provider and be like, I want to discuss my options, but that is my current plan. Okay, thank you so much for hanging out with me during this video. Feel free to leave a comment. I love to chat with people in the comments. If you are also on a semaglutide or tirzepatide or GLP-1 journey, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them. I love to chat. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you have not already. I have information and a link to JoinFridays in my description box. Feel free to use my coupon code Madison. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.